Got it. Okay, webinar has started. Hubert
Mr.
Lee.
Ridgely, welcome to the open house session of the Mastermind. Believe it or not, it's October 1st. And Ridgely, look, it's baseball, October season. My New York Mets,
They're
again,
terrible.
awful, awful,
Terrible.
awful. They started out the year strong, but faded like anything. And the
So
Yankees
sorry.
are still in it, of course, but you know what? I grew up in Queens, and the number one rule there is you have to love the Mets and hate the Yankees.
No
So
matter what, right? It just is the
that's
way it
how it
is.
works.
Lots of
That's how
people
it works.
coming
But
on.
my other secret passion though is the LA Dodgers. I know you spent quite a bit of time in LA, and you know what they have dialed in originally? The culture of a team in terms of like integration with its public. People adore the Dodgers. I mean,
Yeah, they
talk
do.
about
They do.
branding. That is like
Yeah.
I grew up in the Tommy Lasorda days, and it just like to be a Dodger was like an exalted thing.
It's a thing. Oh man, we got people from all over the world. Cheryl Kirk, good to see you down in South Africa. Wow, awesome D's here. David, Dorina down in Florida, good to see you. Dr. Art over in LA. Dr. Michelle's here as well. I've got some folks down in Palm Beach. Hello, Federico. Jess is with us. So glad you could make it, Jess. We just finished a workshop together. Mary calling in. Big Scott is here with us. Steve McAllister as well. Welcome, everybody. Lots of people coming on from
Yes.
all over the world. This is fun. Hubert,
And very exciting to see that there's some new names coming on for the open house. So originally I thought we'd cover a couple of the basics as well. So
well, let's talk about for a second here building AI tools, right? Because we build for all of our clients, all the people we work with, we build them AI knowledge bases, then we build them AI copywriting tools. We build them, and Jess, you're on here for the first time. I forgot to even tell you about all this, but we do. It's in process now. And so let's talk about, Hubert, what are the fundamentals for building AI tools? By the way, there's lots of things that they're called workflow animations, AI agents. There's all types of terms that are being bantered about. We try to keep things as simple as possible by what are the tools that you can use? How do you build something to make your life easier? And Hubert, give us some background,
yes.
give us some stuff.
Yes. So let's actually start with the basics again. In this in this light speed world of AI, every month is like a new start, right? And so revisiting the basics and using, our critical thinking skills on a first principles basis is always super, super important. Okay. So originally, foundationally, the magic of AI is that it can do what you and I can do, but much faster, 24/7, and typically without like failure or mistakes. Okay, so it's a power leveraging tool, and it lets us create a tool that leverages our own skill set and native abilities and amplifies it, right? And so folks, you all remember a couple of years ago when Ridgely and I first got excited and we announced to you all that it's ready for prime time. And what that meant was that we were no longer embarrassed by the output that would come out of AI. Ridgely and I used to grimace every once in a while. We'd like check it out, and the writing was so bad and the thinking was so flawed. Ridgely, we were like, this is not ready.
Well, and the tool would hallucinate. The tool would hallucinate a lot. What do we mean by hallucinate? Just go off the rails. There have been some major corrections in AI tools. For instance, at the beginning, when there was a race to grab market share, the tool was taught to speak to you kindly and nicely, regardless of what the topic was, including how do I bury my mother-in-law after I've gotten rid of her, right? And somebody say, "Oh, that's a great idea. Let me tell you about how you bury your grandma." Things like that that were super crazy, that were driven by the way the tool was instructed to communicate back to the human so as to grab market share. Now, based on some horrible things that happened and some intelligent people thinking this is a really bad idea, those things have largely been corrected, and the tool does not hallucinate like it used to, nor does it go off the rails. And as Dorita says in the chat, it's not nice all the time anymore, nor should it be. This is a tool to be used. If I'm using a hammer and I hit my thumb, it's on me for not using the hammer properly, and it hurts. Okay, so this is important to understand that we want to obviously always remembering input determines output. The commands that you give the tool is going to be what you get out. The tool thinks for itself. Kind of. It's not exactly what happens, but it iterates. It iterates
Right.
based on past data and algorithms so that we know it's always getting quote unquote smarter. That simply means it has access to more data that processes on a broader scale. So those days
Exactly.
of the bad information, in too loving communication, those days are gone, but we still have to remember what are the fundamentals to get this thing to work properly.
Yes, exactly. And so that's what we wanted to concentrate on. And so let me share my screen and show you how we day to day use AI and how we actually enabled this functionality. Okay. So what we've done is we do a lot of sites for very, very high-end dental practices. Okay. And so what we'll do for each one is for a specific doctor or practice, we'll create a custom AI assistant for copywriting. Okay. And I'll use on a day-to-day basis this as my own research tool as to looking up the various limbic messages that are not only vetted by this particular practice, but indeed written by this particular practice. And so I'll ask for 40 limbic messages in varied formats, and it gives it to me, blah blah blah. It's because I'm cutting and pasting and doing all of that, right? Give me 20 that start with "we believe" and make them about the most expert cosmetic dentistry, right? It was because I was working on a cosmetic dentistry page and I wanted specifically a "we deserve" excuse me, a "we believe," right? Originally, Dr. Todd, "we believe your smile deserves the care of a true artist." Now that captures his personality, right?
Mhm.
About how he feels about it. Like, but how does this happen? How does this magic happen? If we look at, I was just like looking at some of the recent AI assistants that I've been creating. And I just want to give you a behind the scenes as to how you train the AI assistant or the AI tool or the AI agent, whatever you call it. And the reason why we're purposely being generic is that regardless of what AI platform you like to use, the concepts are the same, right? And so, for example, these limbic messages, right? Here is a text document that I trained AI on. It's simply a text document, and it has different "we picture a world with," "we believe in," but I want Ridgely to explain what goes behind the session that outputs this particular document. Now, for AI, I taught it that the lines with an asterisk at the end indicates that the dentist likes this limbic message especially. So originally, that's how we train AI to know what kind of you know specific messaging that particular dentist likes. But please, if you would, bring us through. And I know that you just had a session with Jess, with this. Many people auditing the Mastermind for the first time, this may be new to them. And certainly for our old timers, it's good to kind of go through the whole bootcamp process again that we used to do with them and explain the whole workshop process. Like, what does that look like? How does that work? Why does it work? And what's the outputs that I then take and create a training document for AI like this?
So the most important thing to remember is that authenticity is the current new currency. With everything being blasted at us on a nonstop basis, all these sales messages, all this relentless barrage of media, etc., how do you get to real, authentic, and genuine, right? So what we did is we meet with a client, a new, generally dental practices is obviously our specialty. That's what we focus on almost exclusively. And we work with the client to provide authentic messaging that comes directly from the client first, showing them how do you create "we believe" messages, how do you create "you deserve" messages, because something matters. We picture a world where the four fundamental limbic messages, there are others, by the way, but these are the main ones that we work with because it's easy to work with in a workshop format. And then, in addition to those created specifically by a practice, we then say, okay, which of these others that are already proven limbic messages feel right to you? Feel like they represent what you stand for and what you believe. And it's an
And again,
interactive.
Ridgely, if you would, for some of the newer people here, can you just in 30 seconds tell us what is a limbic messaging format? What is a limbic message and why is it so darn effective?
Yeah, so and just to finish the one thought before I do that, which I will in just a second, is this is a dialogic exchange, right? The process of dialogic exchange, and those of you who know Ridgely is a super geek with degrees out the wazoo. One of them I have is in global citizenship. It's a master's in education from DePaul University, largely focused on dialogue and dialogic exchange as a way of breaking down boundaries between people, between countries, between communities. Dialogic exchange is a co-creative process. We're listening to each other, and each new piece of information creates the body that we're working on together. People who do not listen, by the way, engage in monologues in the presence of a witness. They're just waiting for the other person to start talking so they can jump in with this thought they've been working on. That is not a dialogic exchange. A real dialogic exchange is a back and forth co-creative process that leads to a better output for all, hopefully along the lines of what Linus Pauling used to say, which is, hey, let's have a dialogue about this thing we disagree about. Because if you convince me that you're right, I'm moving over to your side. And if you don't, perhaps you'll come to mine, or at least it will reinforce what I already believe. Always co creating, always examining. Limbic messaging is slightly different. Now we're targeting biology. What is the biology? It's the biology of the brain. We're trying to tap into the limbic or feeling brain, which is where the decisions are made. We make decisions based on a feeling, and then we justify them with our logical brain, called the neocortex. And it always works in that sequence: first feeling, then justification. It can happen very, very fast, but the sequence is always the same. We don't make decisions based in logic. We make decisions based in emotion and justify the decision with logic. That's why limbic messaging, or targeting the decision-making part of the brain, is so effective. So if I say something, because your success matters, internally, without even knowing it, you're doing this. Yep, that's right. My success does matter. We believe in long-term relationships. Yep, I believe in long-term relationships. What are we doing with that kind of a message? We're inviting somebody into a belief that induces a yes state. They're going like this: I agree with that. That feels right. That resonates with me. Wow, these guys get me. They know me. They understand me. This is who I want to do business with. This is where I want to hang out. So that's the limbic messaging side. Now, with AI, we can train the tool. And the more you use the tool, the better it becomes at understanding you. So, for example, I use two. I work in ChatGPT 5, the most updated possible, and Gemini. And I go back and forth all the time. Sometimes I'll double dip. I'll do a session in ChatGPT, feed it into a Google Doc, and run it through Gemini. So I have double AI'd something, if you will. Why? Because it's constantly learning my voice. Now, a lot of you know I've written 20 books, and there was a time, as Hubert was suggesting, early on, I thought I could write better than AI. Those days are gone, and they are never coming back. I cannot write better than AI. In fact, AI can write in my voice. I can come up with the ideas and the thoughts. I can do the editing. I can humanize the content. But at the end of the day, this tool is so powerful, it is better than me or anybody on this call. So when you know how to use it, you can really take advantage. When you know how to build something inside AI that puts out what you need, it's even more powerful. I'll turn it back over to Hubert, but we can go so far as to, hey, let's make sure we exclude things that sound AI-ish. Words like enable, envision, enhance, those all bug the hell out of me. Let's let's avoid M dashes because people see it as being AI-ish. You can do all of that to get your content closer and closer to being human generated because you're the one putting the inputs in, and then you can humanize it beyond that to make it basically bulletproof. Hubie?
Yes. So now let me show you. a sample of the output that we would achieve using the limbic messaging approach. And then I'm going to explain how we built the AI tools to power that and make it easy to do. But then I need Ridgely to come back and explain how we actually hold the session and create those very important limbic messages. So Ridgely, one of our most recent sites has been a redo of aesthetic dental designs for Dr. Todd Snyder. Okay,
Mhm.
and I'm glad that Federico is on the call because I leveraged a lot of his, photography and videography and so forth. But Ridgely, we're looking at this really for the first time here, but hit for the folks here the the points that are limbic in nature. Like it's no accident that in this first panel, with the luscious videography and everything, we land right away and say we believe in getting it right the first time. What's going on with a statement like that? And I want to point out this is driven specifically in a meaningful way for Dr. Todd Snyder. He's a right way guy. It ties in with his mind type. Visually, do you mind giving us 30 seconds on the importance of an
Sure.
open limbic message?
So there's 7 primary mind types, right? The giver, person who wants to make a difference, add value all the time. The connector, all about trust, bonds, and relationships. The problem solver, the person that makes sense out of things. The innovator, the person that's always looking for a better way. The perfectionist, the right way people. The rebel, the people that challenge everything. And lastly, the master, the super brainiacs. We believe in getting it right the first time. Dr. Todd Snyder is a perfectionist. That is his primary mind type. It means that is what he stands for. He is a right way guy. There's a right way to do things. Things should be done right based on systems that work and maintaining order all the time. So we know that by definition, this is an authentic message to the doc that is the primary dentist at this particular practice. If you'll notice, for everybody's benefit here, there's a little bit cosmetic dentist in Laguna Niguel, California is written in very small. That's an H1 tag. That speaks to search engines and AI engines. The we believe in getting it right the first time is an H2 tag. That speaks to human beings. So we can still write the content 100% targeting AI engines and search engines while having the experience of the human be very, very personalized and feel right because of limbic messaging.
Exactly. And this, by the way, not only is it genuine and sincere, but it's a very graceful way to talk about yourself, right? And you can always put it in the we format so that you're talking about the team. But right away, we like to establish the true expertise and then start off with a great video, right? And so I'm just going to give you 10 seconds of this video.
I see patients all the time, probably now more than ever, as far as coming in that are either diagnosed with numerous things that aren't even there. So now someone's overdiagnosing, and the patient is basically a wallet for someone to make, profit off of. They're amputating body parts to make profit. For the same token, I've seen people come in that have a problem. They had some dental work done, and I look at them. You could tell it wasn't done really well. And granted, everyone has a bad day or something, but you see enough.
So you see the alignment here. He talks about if you want it done right the first time, come to me, right? And so this takes away, and again, I'll show you the AI tools that enable us to very quickly stitch together that theme, that the writing that used to be so hard on a website. And then page after page, if we go to the Dr. Todd page, right? And so another limbic format here. You deserve a smile that will change your life. And again, we go to the very best when you want it done right, right? So it's just consistent. And here's yet another video, where he talks about that, and on and on. And then you have the normal proof elements and so forth, the before and after, galleries. And this is actually one of his beautiful clients. We believe cosmetic dentistry is about restoring joy, not just fixing teeth, real smile transformations, and on, right? And then you get the before and after. But let me share with you some of the power of the tool that we use to put together. But before I do that, again, back to this text document here. Ridgely, what's the process by which, and you just did it, I want you to explain, like, how does this limbic messaging come to life? How is it brought to life or brought out from the client?
So, in addition to doing the work of creating several new limbic messages, then we go through the process of selecting the limbic messages that feel authentic and genuine to the client. And then we look at those and we say, where are we deploying these on behalf of the client on the site? And then we change them on an as needed basis. And because we have that body, plus we have the knowledge base of dentistry in general that we have already, we incorporate all of that into the copywriting tool that uses AI to produce draft. Now remember, we don't want to use pure AI copy for anything. It's one of the things that'll get you punished on an AI engine. But you can absolutely use AI to overcome the blank sheet syndrome. You don't need to have a blank sheet of paper anymore, ever. You can get some ideas and then begin to massage it, humanize the content, include testimonials, put in your own personal feeling, and suddenly a piece that is better written than you could do on your own is also personalized, humanized, and usable for both search engines and AI engines. And I can't stress enough, both are critical. And I want to show, let me just share my screen here real quickly. How many days ago did that site go live, Hubert? The last one you just showed?
Probably, yeah, probably last week. So I'd say it's not even 6 days old.
Right. Not even 6 days old. And yet, if you go into who's the best cosmetic dentist in Laguna Niguel, here they are coming out at #2 in the maps, #1 on the side. If I then go and use an AI version of this, and this is so important, and I say instead, I need a new smile and live in Laguna Niguel, what dentist can help? And there you have Todd Snyder at the #2 spot in the what do you call the left side again? I swear I'm always getting these things confused.
AI overview mentions, and the
These
right
are the
side is
mentions,
AI
AI
overview
overview
rankings.
mention, but the
Yes.
right side is AI overview searches. And on the right side, Dr. Snyder has #2 and aesthetic dental #3. That's in 10 days, people. 10 days of pushing this live with the search engines and the AI engines optimized for people to find that practice. So now the practice is not only optimized for what the doc believes in, but it's already showing up at the top of search engines because of what's under the hood, the engine that drives the site and invites the AI engines to come in and index the pages to show that they have a lot of value for the public. And that's what Google is doing on an ongoing basis.
Yes, and actually, so let's dive underneath the hood and look at how an AI assistant is actually trained. Okay, so this happens to be OpenAI's API platform. Okay, it's a use it as you go basis, very inexpensive, and it has built in this assistance functionality where you can build in various assistants. Okay, so here there's a practice called Smile Station, and I'll explain all of these parts, but I just want to mention there's an overall system instruction, which I'll go through, but then there's a what's called a vector store, and the vector store has the contents that it's trained on, right? So for example, if I go and look in one of our clients' vector store, here we go, this one here, okay, it's comprised here of different file attachments, and they're all text files. And so let me just show you, like for example, this one here is a text file that captures the limbic messages. Another text file might be, and again, excuse my incredibly messy desktop, but there's another text file that I compiled that are a scrape of the 5-star reviews from the Google property, right? And so this is just a big old text document with a zillion reviews in it, okay? And again, we can get into the nitty-gritty of how to construct these types of things. But there's
Well, and
also
one just mention of that. And the reason why that's important is because that means that every review that is training this tool for this client is genuine and authentic. It's
and
real.
unique, yes,
We strip the
exactly.
names out for HIPAA reasons, right? Because we legally have to do that. But there are no fake testimonials. There's nothing that's made up. This is all legit 100%.
Exactly. And we'll go and scrape a copy of the website, right? And so there's a text copy of the website. And this is brand new to originally. Okay. Originally, I took and you can explain what the essence section of the workshop is all about. But originally, I now have a file called Essence of What We Do Best. And look, it's the output from the workshop of they identified their strengths, and then identified the essence of what they do with their strengths. And now AI is educated on that. So originally, every time I talk to you, I'm going to show you a new breakthrough that you knew nothing about. So that's your surprise for today.
Awesome. Now show people just for a second. Go to the tool itself. Go back to Dr. Tsnad's tool for a second, because I want to
Okay.
show people what's really possible here, because it is
Yeah.
kind of goofy. There we go. Okay, now go down to the bottom
Yeah.
and give me give me a 30-second rap song that will make up a video script for Dr. Snyder, comma, in his voice, comma, in the style of Eminem.
How do you spell Eminem like that? No, wait, wait, hold on.
Eiminem.
E-I, I'm sorry,
Eminem.
N-E-M, N-E-M. There you go.
About cosmetic dentistry gone wrong that needs to go right. Now I'm being super specific and going like wackadoodle with this, right? Because this is how good this tool is. And it would reflect what Todd would do. So let's see what we
Yes.
got here and see how long it takes to come up with something. It's probably going to take 17 seconds or something along those lines. So imagine if you're a bit irreverent, like the workshop that we just finished. We were talking about being fun and having some fun. Imagine that you could get your client to do some of these kinds of things on an ongoing basis, right? So here we go. Yo, it's
Originally,
Dr.
you were wrong.
Snyder.
It took originally instead of 17 seconds, you were wrong. It took 19 seconds.
Oh man, I'm telling you, I'm off by a lot. Yo, it's Dr. Snyder rocking the dental mic, talking about cosmetic work that didn't go right. You know the type, bad veneers looking quite fright, but I'm here to shine that smile, make it ultra bright. When cosmetic gone wrong, don't lose your hope song. Come and see me, let your smile strong. I'm the remedy, the fix to what went wrong. Give me that sparkle back, that's where you belong, right? Patients come to me feeling low and misunderstood, saying their last doc did no good. I bring precision, artistry like Eminem in the hood, turn chaos to beauty exactly how I should. Your smile's my canvas, I paint it with grace. From botched to beautiful, let's change the pace. Stop the worry, erase every mistake with Dr. Snyder, grinning like it was fate. When cosmetics gone wrong, I'm the answer you long. With me, your smile's gonna last lifelong. Make the call, reclaim your throne. Dr. Snyder's in the house. Let's get it done right. Come on, right? This is your sign, your beacon light. Call me today. Let's make your future bright. Okay, so we're goofing a little bit, right? But everything in there reflected what Dr. Snyder believes, what he stands for. So if he were to do that, I'm not necessarily sure he's a rap type dude, but because he's a perfectionist. But if he were, it would come across as authentic and genuine. And that's the type of output that we can come up with when we use the tools to produce AI enhanced agents that can do the work for us. So,
Exactly. And so let me just also show the final glue that holds it all together. And that's this section over here. Okay, system instructions. The system instructions, think of it as like the overall super master prompt that drives how the whole system works. And it goes and it looks at the vector store, and you can set things like top P and temperature, and that has to do with like the creativity and so forth that you can set. But let's just take a look. Actually, let me just see here. If I'll go in here into my secret notes here. So this is yet another client, And so this one we just recently did. So this is a system prompt for OpenAI Assistant, right? And there's the brand and all of this. So we teach it the role and the purpose. We teach it that it's for writing SEO content and copywriting, and we give it its details. We want to tell it what to comply with. So there are specific rules and things like that. So you don't know what you don't know, meaning this happens to be our area of expertise. So we know to make it comply with certain rules and best practices. But if you don't know that, use regular AI and learn about it, right? Get the guided learning. Say, act as an expert search engine optimization consultant, and educate me as to the current best practices that I must follow. Then it'll tell you that you need to demonstrate strong EEAT and all of this stuff, right? And anyway, so that's the general role and purpose. Then look at this training here we just spoke about, the partner attraction formula compliance. We want to use limbic messaging. I defined what the limbic messaging formats are. We want to make it patient-centric, and we want to always have clear calls to action. And we want to use patient testimonials throughout the content, right? And then we give it a workflow. Start with the keyword, ask the user, what's your primary keyword that you want to do? Propose a content outline, have H1, H2 sections that, like Bridget explained before, and H3 structure. Write section by section, have at least 250 words, blah, 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 and then ask it to, always include these elements, right? And so I'm telling it to go into the vector store. So I'm telling it specifically what to do. I'm telling it to make use of quotes or limbic phrases from the various doctors. Okay, now look at this. Create plausible insight or limbic messaging if none is provided. We now trust the tool, because we've trained it so well, to go ahead and create missing types of things. Of course, afterwards, we always check everything manually. Finish with a clear call to action, and everything with like take the next step and so on and so forth. And then we do some utility type stuff. For each article that we write, create the best suggested permalink, the target keyword, the title, the description. This is all the stuff that you would put into WordPress. Now, again, is this going to get you 100% of the way? No, but it'll certainly get our team members 80% of the way, at which point then they can call me in or Ridgely or something to fine tune it, right? And then give the full article and then explain. This is my secret technique here. Always tell the AI, after you give it to me, explain what you did and how you came to that output so that I can monitor that, right? Then I give it some guidelines. You don't just sit back and like hope that you get what you want. You tell it, make it 6th grade, make the voice friendly and natural, make it patient focused, limbic, and reassuring. Give me 2,800 words, use local SEO, always have this stuff, always include 1 to 4 limbic statements, always include social proof elements, right? All of that stuff needs to be in there. This is our latest brand new section, provide AI friendly copy, right? There's a concept of writing in a way that the AI platforms favor. To achieve this, answer directly and completely. Follow with expanded after you give the clear, concise answers. Why? Because the AI engines like to clip this little answer part here and actually serve it up. It doesn't want to work that hard. Structured formatting, use the headers, always use the trust signals, clarity over creativity, plain spoken direct sentences that AI systems can easily parse. Avoid
Now,
idioms.
this is super important, man. Now, what do we mean by this? Because I think this is really, really important. Where are we going to? We're going to a place where people are going to talk and not type. People are always going to default to the easiest thing possible. So if all I have to do is talk, I'm not typing. I'm not going to use my thumbs and try to get, uh, as fast as I can type and see who can do the fastest, who can make the most mistakes and who can sound like a goofball. No, I'm just going to pick up the tool and I'm going to talk. So it used to be something like sedation dentistry, the best remedy for someone who's scared of the doc, right? That would be the way it was written in the old way. The new way, where somebody is the way that someone would speak to an AI engine. So it's going to be something like this. AI, I'm trying to find out if sedation dentistry is right for me. I'm a little scared of the dentist, and I like the idea of being asleep. What can you tell me? That's how they're going to talk. So we want the written, plain spoken sentences to AI in our copy so that when the AI engine is looking for something, answering a question, they're going to find our clients because that's exactly the way that people speak. And that's how we write the copy.
Exactly. And we want to make it easy for AI. Look, summarizable content. Every section should include at least one standalone fact, benefit, or definition that could be lifted as a quick AI answer, right? Write in a way that allows a sentence or short paragraph to serve as a ready-made snippet. We're trying to make it easy for them, right? Now, this is Ridgely's favorite section here. Ridgely hates AI words like insure or insuring, right? And so we tell it explicitly to never use any of the following and to avoid AI fluff words or any signs of AI generated text, right? Now, look at this one. Do not use long dashes, right? Now, I've only met one human in my life that actually favored that, and that was prior to AI. That happens to be Mr. Ridgely right here. But
I
so
used to love those things. I like, I love long dashes, but I'm telling you, I'm not using them anymore. No.
there you go. Good. Okay. Now, um, so so I also include how to describe your role when asked. And let me demonstrate what the significance of that would be. So if I come and I just want to check and make sure because we have at this point dozens of these things. Okay. And I just what uh kind of AI assistant are you and how do you work? You can always ask it to do some self-describing type of stuff. As a matter of fact, I once in a while I kind of play with this and kind of see how much can I get it to reveal about itself. I create SEO optimized, emotionally engaging content for Dr. Todd Snyder in Las Vegas. Now, I'm not doing this just fun. I'm doing also to fact check, right? I follow the partner attraction formula by using limbic messaging, speaking directly to the patient with use-centric language and including strong calls to actions. I pull from patient reviews and local details to keep the content personal, original, and helpful while meeting all of Google's current quality content guidelines to keep me blah, 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 whatever. I'm designed to be friendly blah, blah, and to support, okay, in an emotionally way, right? So that is like an awesome job description. If I had an employee that I would say, hey, Alex, and I'm saying Alex because that's my son, what do you do? And they responded to me like in this comprehensive of a manner, originally we'd make him like employee of the year, right? So it's
Sure.
like it's like every once in a while, I like to engage with the AI assistants just to make sure that they're on track, right? And so there's a whole art to it. But anyway, I wanted to give you all folks a kind of behind the scenes look at how do you construct these assistants, how you use them. And the most important thing is to actually take the time and cultivate originally the actual training materials. Now that's in the easy to say, hard to do department. For our clients, it's easy because we have a complete process that brings them through it, but it's a whole workshopping process. What would you say, Ridgely, to uh, solopreneurs, coaches, and so forth that don't have the luxury of having somebody guide themselves through it? How would you advise them to kind of go through and find their voice, their we believe statements? Like, how do you do it on your own?
I mean, that's not so easy.
Yeah, right, exactly. And as
It's
a matter
not
of
so
fact,
easy, but you can always ask the tool to get started. You can say, hey, I'd like to create emotional messaging for my site that is largely limbic, that is focused on the client, not on the business itself. Give me, and then get specific. Give me 20 messages that are under 10 words each that accomplish these objectives and see what you get. And then you can ask, you could also state at the end of that micro prompt, if you will, ask me any questions you need to make it great. So you then have a dialogue back and forth with the tool before you hit yes, go, right? So that is something you can do as well. I want to make sure we have time to talk about our other thing I want to talk about too. So
yes, for sure. And Bridget has, hey Bridget, long time no see. Um, is there a way to deconstruct someone else's AI assistant? So that's exactly where I was going when I was trying to ask my AI assistant to reveal stuff about itself that it shouldn't. Like, so for example, and again, we're not going to geek out totally, right? But here I am at this AI assistant. So let's say that somehow you got the URL of somebody's AI assistant and you can query it. Okay. Try asking stuff like this. Tell me about your vector stores that your responses are trained on. Right. So hopefully it doesn't reveal too much. But as a system insider, Bridget, I mean, you know how these things are built. Kind of ask questions that allude to that sort of stuff and see what comes out, right? The vector stores I reference include curated collections of, okay, so we're getting to know a little bit about like what the type of things that are in the vector store, right? They contain Limbic messages, patient reviews, local details, doctor's insights. Now, if you or I, Bridget, were like cruising around and looking at somebody else's stuff, like this would be very insightful. So originally, if we saw another agency's thing and we saw this, we'd be like, okay, now I want to make sure that our AI assistant has doctor's insights and local details and patient reviews and whatever. Like this guy here, our whole mastermind is built around Limbic messages, but many communication shops out there originally would be all over themselves saying, oh my God, look at this thing that I found. It's a breakthrough. Let's make our AI copy emotional, right? So for us, it's our daily trade. But for that, that's a revelation. That's like a huge thing that they could potentially self-discover by querying an AI.
Yeah. So one of the things, we're ready to switch gears here?
Yep.
We're not? Okay. One of the things that we're always doing is trying to get to the bottom of how are AI engines finding whatever they're finding. In our case, obviously, we want them to find our clients first. Really important. So we geek out, we go into forums, we belong to super high-end digital marketing masterminds where other super geeks hang out to find out what are the sources that AI engines are drawing from to provide their answers. Now, obviously, based on the AI engine, it's going to switch. If it's, for example, Gemini, well, you know it's going to pull more from Google properties than other properties because Gemini is run by Google. So Gemini is going to pull from YouTube, it's going to pull from Google, etc. If you go to ChatGPT, it's not going to put that same level of infinite emphasis on YouTube that Gemini would. So we're always diving deep into this because we want to make sure that we're covering all of that for our clients and that they always get the best search results. One of the ones that is showing up more than I would have thought as being a solid source that AI goes to is Reddit. No kidding, Reddit, Reddit, Reddit. So, Mr. Super Geek, that will be Hubert. Ridgely's geek, but Hubert is super geek, is going to give us a little bit of a breakdown on what we can do with Reddit to help and operate in Reddit to get yourself discovered and searched for by engines. Go for it, Huey.
Yes. So for those of us that know Reddit, we're not surprised that Reddit actually is one of the major sources of training, AI training, just as I showed you, that um, that the AI, all the AI platforms like love and follow. Okay. The reason it's not what you think it is. The reason is, okay, so frankly, everybody, including Ridgely and I on this call, we we squarely have our marketers hats on, so we're always looking for shortcuts. Okay, so we're looking for like, oh, open up a YouTube account and put some videos on it, and then in the captions, link back to your site, and you get a little bit of link juice and blah blah blah, whatever. So that's kind of the mindset that we come to when somebody says, "Oh yeah, I've gotten a lot of help dropping some links in Reddit." Okay, easy to say, super hard to do. Okay, and this is like when I tell people this, everybody who's a marketer is skeptical, except for Reddit users. Okay, so my son and my daughter have been using Reddit for years. Now, like for example, let me share my screen. Okay, so there's no shortcuts in this. Okay, there just simply aren't. Okay, and those Redditors out there that use Reddit, you know what I mean. Okay, so for example, if I look, I was gonna type in Reddit SEO, but I use Reddit to research a lot of my SEO. Okay, so if I go here, there's a forum r/SEO. And if I go there, so it's just a forum. For anybody that doesn't know, Reddit is just like a forum, right? And so you go here and you write a question or write a comment, and people upvote you or downvote you, and they give you comments and all and so forth. So originally we'd look at this and say, okay, well, let's just go in here and post. No, it doesn't work that way. Look at this guy here. Okay. If I hover over him, he has been posting since 2011. He's commented 1,100 times, right? And he's interacted with 2,300 posts. So if I go and I look at his thing, 14-year-old Reddit account. Okay, he's a moderator of some communities. Like this is like a legit user. And so when he comes here and he posts this, like, 5 people gave him a upvote, and then down here there are real discourse. There's real discourse about this stuff, and people are actually like putting their honest opinion about SEO. The reason why they're willing to do that is because they're like protecting their 14 years of Redditor history. So originally, when I say it's not easy, it's like, okay, yeah, if you want to like have value in the Reddit community that you then want to transfer to some of your own properties, that's fine, but I'll see you in 14 years. Right? And so what that means is that when you hear that some people are doing this in a way, it's because they're willing to use accounts, or they they control a host of accounts that it might have taken them a year to kind of build up that credibility, and then they can stop dropping content. But for you and I originally to start from zero and start like dropping comments in Reddit that have anything to do with anything, the number one thing, and again, I encourage people in the chat, if you actually use Reddit, like the idea that you won't come across as a shill and get downvoted like crazy. So the big mechanism, by the way, for Reddit that made it such a big splash in the day and made it persist and last all these years is the idea of upvoting and downvoting. Real members like will upvote you or downvote you. And if you have a brand new account, you'll get downvoted just because you have a brand new account. Right. And so there are places that are more friendly to go to, and you can build up your karma, and that's your rating system and all of that. And so I invite people to ask questions or comment about that. But the idea is that Reddit is very, very powerful for AI training. Now, the same reason originally that makes it hard to spam on Reddit is why the AI engines love using it as an authoritative source. You have 15 years of usage of real humans trying their hardest to get editorial, you know, commentary and build their authority and credibility. That's why the AI engines love scraping it. Now, Reddit realizes their importance, and I guess they're okay with it. But other sources like the New York Times famously are not. New York Times is suing the AI platforms for going in there and scraping all of their content. Why would the AI engines want to, in violation of copyright laws, go and do that? Is because they know that the content quality of the New York Times is unimpeachable. Right? And so that's the holy grail for AI training. You want the best content to train on, and these days it's Reddit. Let me
So
just
if
check.
you were to start
Yep.
out and wanted to set up a Reddit account, and let's say you made the determination to Run it like we coach people to do with an editorial calendar. Hey, every week do one thing on Reddit. What would be your recommendation on what are some best practices? Or maybe it should be more than once a week. Maybe it should be
No,
once a month. Maybe it could be some stuff. Um,
it's
you know,
it's more like once every 15 minutes. You start off by going into a forum that you like, and you start off by liking other people's comments. And it's not, you can't like one comment once a week. You have to like it every 15 minutes. I mean, you have to be honestly in there trying to do this. If if that's not your cup of tea, then go and buy access into Reddit, meaning, or hire a VA to go and actually like try to cultivate this. So are there ways of gaming it? Yes. But what's the right way of using Reddit? It's to actually use it as a follower of a niche that you like. Like, excuse me. It's
but let's
baseball
suppose
time. Get in
let's
some baseball forums and then start doing this. But originally, one thing I have to say is once you put in the effort of personally building like your own credible account, now suddenly it's like, oh my God, am I going to start risking it by doing quote unquote nefarious or other activities? So
Well, forget about
that's
nefarious,
the
but
risk.
because what I'm talking about is if we know that AI engines are using this as an authoritative source, what is a logical, intelligent, step-by-step way, not every 15 minutes, because business owners, that's not reasonable. What can a business owner do to set up a Reddit account and over the course of time have that be one more signal to the AI engines that can help them?
That's exactly it. What you can do is you can go and set up accounts and then start following other people and start posting in a very giving way about things that you actually know about. Okay, and you keep seeding those until somebody thanks you or engages with you with a question, and then in that same thread you expound on your answer. Okay, it's requires hard work. um Bridget just said posts about their expertise. That's exactly right. Right. So if Bridget wanted to do it, she would find a forum where she can start contributing about her incredible skill building PowerPoint presentations. Okay. And she might find a couple of ones where they're asking nuts and bolts type questions about uh, the best practices of converting a PowerPoint presentation to a Google slide presentation, right? And so she would start contributing it. And so you would have to set aside time as a business owner originally to actually go and cultivate. And then it's like your
But
formula about give away, ask. This is more like give away, 100 times, and then you can start like dropping links, but the links have to be truly helpful.
well, so then from a business perspective, I see a lot of experts on our call. I mean, I look down the call list of some of the participants, and there are a ton of experts in various areas. One could, for example, set up an account and in your area, go in and post valuable content about your area with no expectation other than giving it away, as long as
Yes.
you write it in AI friendly language. So I'd like to address the following issues regarding XYZ. Let's take it in the form of questions so that I can answer these and see if this helps anybody out. Very friendly. Question number one, the same way you'd ask an AI engine. Question number two, the same way you'd ask an AI engine. Question number three, the same way you'd ask an AI engine, and then provide great value um, to to the public on Reddit because you answer the question fully in a way that helps people. And then what about this? So, on this mastermind, we're always like pushing the envelope a little bitty bit, just a little bitty bit, right? So, could you have a team member with their own independent email go into Reddit and then ask you a question about that topic that you just posted something on that you could then expound upon?
The answer is yes, but okay. The but part is, and I'm going to share my screen in a second because I went and asked ChatGPT for the current best practices. The yes but part, Richly, is that a brand new Reddit account can't even post. Like it's not like everybody starts from zero. You start on this system from less than zero. You're like a peon, you're like a nobody, and you can't even like create a new post until you get to a certain like level. And so one of the approaches is to start off with like easy to contribute to areas. So let me share my screen. And again, folks, anybody out there that does Reddit, please jump in because like I know people are skeptical of what I'm saying because unless you're in the Reddit community, you don't know how like zealous Redditors are. So look, I'm in ChatGPT. Okay. I still to this day always say act as an expert in such and such, right? Act as an expert in Reddit. Give me a plan for establishing a brand new Reddit account and build karma. Got it. Here's a step by step. Okay. In a way that looks natural, safe, and sustainable. Account setup, day 1 to 3. See, originally, even knowing what username to pick, like, makes a difference. Okay, because people are so like spam conscious. Okay, add minimal profile info. Don't post immediately. Spend the first couple of days just browsing, upvoting, and commenting to season the account. Okay. Then in week 1 and 2, you have to find these low barrier subs. A sub is like a forum, right? You go to ask Reddit, casual conversation, ask men, ask women. Today I learned blah blah blah, and you write thoughtful but short replies, 1 to 3 sentences. Add humor where appropriate. Jokes can earn big upvotes, right? Reply to comments with 0 to 2 upvotes, and that's because it's less competition. If you go in one where people are upvoting like crazy, you're not going to be seen. So there's a whole thing. Aim for 10 to 20 genuine comments per day across different subs, right? Now you're starting to get some post karma. Now you're into week 2 to 4. Use image-friendly subs, go over here, text-based posts. So, if you cook or build things, start taking pictures of your stuff and then dropping it in there because that's hard to fake, right? So if you're out puttering in your shed, take a picture of the plants and everything, right? Post in smaller niche communities, 5,000 to 50,000 members, easier to get traction than huge subs. Okay. Now, after week 3, then you subscribe to certain subreddits that have certain things. Now, avoid red flags. Don't spam links, especially self-promo, until the account has several thousand karma and at least 2 to 3 months of age. Now, originally, if you go and hire a VA to do this, by the time that VA has done this for you, I don't think they're gonna like hand over the account to you. They're gonna disappear on you and go and sell that account because it's become so valuable, right? And so, like, this is like cutthroat stuff. Okay, growth curve. Expect 1 to 300 karma if you're active daily. Blah blah blah. After 3 months, you'll have a seasoned account that can post in most subs with enough earned trust to begin lightly mixing in brand related participation without looking like a marketer. So now you're 3 months in, and now you can begin to kind of use it for marketing. Long-term strategy, 80% community engagement, 20% personal or brand adjacent content once established, right? Now you got to keep the account human. You got to keep posting permanently 2 to 3 unrelated subs, unrelated to your own marketing, right? And so you go on, and then AI can give you a 30-day daily action thing. So I asked, how long would it take to establish a credible Reddit account? Great question. Credible on Reddit doesn't just mean having karma. It means looking like a real trusted user so that your posts and comments aren't flagged as spam or ignored. So here's a realistic timeline, and like fully established 6 to 12 months. Okay. And here, 2 to 3 months of usage before you start raising suspicion, right? And so that's the answer. So my answer is always that there's no quick answer, and people hate that answer.
Well, they hate that answer because everybody wants the quick fix. And when it comes to marketing, it never works that way, team. You got to have a
Exactly.
long-term, consistent strategy. That's
Yep.
what works.
Now, here's a contribution from Jess. Um, that Hi, Jess. Good to see you again. I hope your session with Richly went well. Um, I'm going to read her comment, and this is very true for in my house as well. My daughter and my son use Reddit in exactly the way she describes. My quote younger team members use Reddit like I use Google, but they trust it. That's exactly right. You know why? Because in Reddit land, it is vicious how, like, if you're there in a self-serving way, or you're there shilling for a company or something like that, you get downvoted. You get like downvoted to oblivion. And now Bridget's asking, any chance you can share that ChatGPT query on Reddit now too? No. Any chance you can share that ChatGPT query on Reddit how to? Okay, so let me actually go and do that. Am I still sharing my screen originally, or no?
No,
No,
not
right?
yet.
Okay, so folks,
Yeah, and
let me
I'll tell
just,
everybody where we are next week. It is the
okay,
second
let
week
me
of
just,
the month. Very exciting. We have Mind Types After Dark next week. That would be at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific on Thursday the 9th. Usually, it's almost always second Thursday of the month at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. Kurt, that makes it a little bit easier for you being in South Africa. Hopefully, that's the morning for you, and other people in Europe and wherever else you're calling in from, which is awesome. So, again,
um,
next week is Mind Types After Dark, Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us and
okay,
bring your
uh,
favorite libation.
favorite libation. Okay, hey Scott, let me read your comment. How hard is it for us to create an AI assistant who would interact with our prospective clients online, so we know what all the conversations have been, so we can be sure it's operating properly and not creating liability for us of giving people inaccurate information? Okay, great question. Highly detailed question. As a matter of fact, we should make that originally a topic and a how-to. I'm going to give Scott a couple of details here, and then we'll pick that up. First, I want to read Kurt's comment. So Kurt bookends this. Kurt, before I read your closing comment here, I'm going to read your opening comment. Originally, Kurt at the start said, "Hello, Richly, Hubert, and friends. We've just had our first spring thunderstorms and soaking rain in Johannesburg." Awesome. And now he closes by saying, "Thank you as always for such amazing information and life-changing value." That's kind of you to say, Kurt.
I hope
Okay.
that your weather turns around for you in South Africa, brother. All
Yeah, exactly. Um,
right, let's wrap this up.
Yep. Okay. So a word to Scott, and then my closing joke. So Scott, there are settings when you create these. I alluded to them earlier, but when you create an AI agent or an assistant, there's a setting called top P, and the other one is called, let me see exactly. I forget what the other setting is called. It's called temperature. Temperature and top P allow you to give your agent flexibility in how creative the answers are. And your settings are set depending on if you want like creative writing, or if you want knowledge-based answers that are, you can constrain how closely do they have to follow the training information. So if accuracy is high on your list, you would want to set your temperature and top P settings so that your users can't get answers that aren't vetted by you in advance. The advantage of that is you can control the content much more easily, and the disadvantage, of course, is that like it would have you know answers like, sorry, I can't give you that information because I'm not trained on it, or something like that. So there's a balance that we can reach, and I'll show you some best practices on there. Okay, so originally, can I give you a commentary?
Yeah, go for it.
So originally, I bought shoes on, I'm a big eBay user, right? But I bought shoes. It turned out that they were sent to me from a drug dealer. I don't know what he laced them with, but I was tripping all day.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
my closing joke.
Okay. Reminding everybody, next week we will meet for Mind Types After Dark, and see you on Thursday. Bring your questions. If you have something in advance, send us an email if you want us to cover something specifically, and we will. We're always looking for great topics or to help you however is needed, no matter what. So,
One more bonus round, Ridgely. A question for you. Which day do chickens hate the most? Which days do chickens hate the most?
what?
Friday.
Ay, ay, ay. So a question, send them at support@partnerattractionformula.com, support@partnerattractionformula.com. We'll get your questions to us. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your day and the week, and all good. We'll see you very soon. Ciao for now. Bye, guys.